Right now I'm in a mood. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good, yeah.
So not having Notting Hill Carnival in 2020 and in 2021 is all part of that grief cycle that I was talking about before. It's been a mourning process. I, as a therapist, definitely see carnivals across the world, but especially Notting Hill Carnival, as my time to express, my time to release, my time to be free. And not having that for the past 2 years has definitely been a major part in people's depression, has been a huge part in people's anxiety. Um, there's a discussion about carnival just being about jumping on the street half naked and dancing up and down to music. But we as a community know that carnival is a million times more than just what society at large want us to believe it's really about. So the fact that we haven't been able to free up ourselves, the fact that we haven't been able to share, come together as a community, take those times together in the mass camps, have those conversations on the way home from working on feather work, beading, getting your headdresses and things like that. That community that we've lost is just another part of the grief process. And I know that when Carnival comes back on the road, it is going to be like a rebirth.
Yeah, so things that help me generally is reading, reading a lot of books to do with like self-development, positive books like The Art of Thinking Big, things like The Secret is another really good book to read. Even things just there's a book called literally Positive Thinking, I think it's called, or Seven Laws of Positive Thinking, I can't remember. But yeah, literally The Secret is a great book to read. Just tells you about finding your inner self, finding things and ways to be positive. And the main thing I do is music. I say do something that you love, whether that's drawing, whether that's DJing, whether that's you like running or going to the gym. You know, do something that you love. I love doing music. Anytime I'm in a kind of low place, I can literally just record something. It could just be utter rubbish, who cares? But it's just something I enjoy doing, something from the heart. Yeah, just do it for yourself. Do something for yourself. That's what I'll say.
From before, when I was on Choice, my thing has always been about being positive, you know? Um, the Caribbean affair that started in 1990 was a way there. A lot of the elders, they would say to me, boy, my children never used to listen to soca. No, you come on the radio, that's all they want to hear. And seeing the joy from them was something that made me feel good. And then a few years later, I was given the role of being a co-presenter on the breakfast show. And that for me was, what's my role? What am I doing? And my role was to make you smile in the morning. You're gonna wake up groggy. You're gonna wake up saying, I don't want to face the world. You're gonna switch on that radio. You want to be smiling. You know what I mean? And so I just made sure that I was positive about everything. And even if we were in a negative situation, we'd turn it round into a positive situation. And post Choice FM and post my depression, um, I decided that that's what I was going to do. I was going to be positive about as much as I could. Um, I get a lot of that joy from being on the radio. I love being on the radio and someone messaging me and saying, "Oh, I'm loving the show. You picked up my spirits this morning," or getting a video sometimes from some of the listeners. Those kind of things like really, really perk me up. And more recently, my grandchildren. Having grandchildren is a different experience. When you have your children, you're proud and they're your everything. When you have your grandchildren, you get a little bit of breathing space. You can do all the good things. And both my grandchildren, my granddaughter Naira, who was born 6 years ago, been a very, very integral part of me coming out of my depression and staying out of it and staying positive. And my son Elijah was born a few months ago. Again, you know, it's just the anticipation of seeing them, of holding them. Doesn't matter what I face throughout the week, they will uplift me.
I started to speak to when I started to speak to my friends, like when I started to open up more and speak about it, it was tough. It wasn't easy. I think speaking to my parents, my mum and my dad, definitely helped, and they made me feel at ease. But I think when I started to just enjoy what was going on around me, even at work, I started to really appreciate that there's something big coming in my life. There's a new change coming, and that just kind of gave me that different element of excitement. That I'm like, yeah, do you know what? This is no matter what, no matter whether I cry or laugh or whatever, I'm going to enjoy this.
Every day, I try to do something I enjoy doing, I love doing. If it is, I know I'm not going to love it, I ain't doing it. You know, because for me, and the time that we've all spent in lockdown and having to deal with so many things, everybody had things going on, everybody's lost people, you know, and me going through this same journey, losing my grandmother within it and having to travel home to bury my grandmother while I'm dealing with everything I'm dealing with was just like another layer of mental frustration and mental fatigue and just feeling as if, well, when it go end? When will it stop? But the difference for me is every day I wake up is the day I have. That's the day I've been given, I've been blessed with. Yesterday is gone. I can't answer anything about tomorrow because I'm only here today. And I do what I can do today. And if it means that all I can do is get up and go and brush my teeth, make something to eat, and come back and lie down, that's what my day is. But then when it is I'm able to share my gifts, share a part of me that I love in food, in culture, in music, I will do it because it's only going to enrich me and fulfill the day that I have, which is right now, today.
Black men, I want to talk to you directly. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you seeking help. It doesn't make you look weak. It doesn't make you look less of a man. In fact, it makes you in touch with your emotions. It makes you be saying to yourself, yes, I need help. Yes, I need support. Again, what we need to stop doing is waiting until things have got to a level of difficulty as such that we're so far within the difficulties that we're experiencing that now asking for support or asking for help for a way out is too hard. So another thing about therapy, we really have to make sure that we're not waiting for something to be drastically wrong before we go and seek this help.
To be honest, I'm a man of faith. I pray a lot. I always try to look for the good in a bad situation. It could be as bad as possible. Like, for instance, one of my co-workers at the beginning of the year, he had an accident and wrote off his car. And, you know, he was sad. He was like, but boy, how you could tell me, look, I said the good in that situation is that you had good insurance. So it eases the frustration of having to wonder how you're going to pay to deal with things. So in that moment, the good in that would have been good insurance. For me personally, how do I, you know, what do I do to overcome difficult situations? I really and truly just really turn to what I know best. As I say, I have a routine. I get up early. I have early days. So I get up at 4 o'clock. There's a place called Chancellor Hill in Trinidad that I go up there every morning and I do my little motivational quotes. Like, I try my best to express and extend myself to anybody who's on my social media, to give them that little voice or give them that opportunity or give them that little of telling them, you know, be thankful for today and try and go out there and be good. And my slogan is let's get it. You understand? So every day, let's go there and get it. Wherever it is, you understand? Go there and get it. So for me, overcoming a difficult situation is just by doing that. I wake up every morning and always really try to give thanks for seeing the next day. Once I get up in the morning, that is me overcoming a difficult situation of yesterday, because I'm here now. I'm in the flesh and I'm now.
That joy from being on the radio. I love being on the radio and someone messaging me and saying, oh, I'm loving the show. You picked up my spirits this morning, you know, or getting a video sometimes from some of the listeners. Those kind of things like really, really perk me up. And more recently, my grandchildren, having grandchildren is a different experience. You know, when you have your children, you're proud and they're your everything. When you have your grandchildren, you get a little bit of breathing space. You know, you can do all the good things. Both my grandchildren, my granddaughter Naira, who was born 6 years ago, been a very, very integral part of me coming out of my depression and staying out of it and staying positive. And my son Elijah, who was born a few months ago, again, you know, it's just the anticipation of seeing them, of holding them. Doesn't matter what I face throughout the week, they will uplift me.
For me, sometimes I could be up 3 o'clock in the morning, and because I love to cook, that's my passion, 100%. I'll be up 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be making whatever it is I feel like. Once I have the ingredients, if it's bread, if it's cake, if it's it don't matter. From wherever country, it could be Chinese food, it could be steak, it could be whatever. And that for me channels me in a direction of doing something instead of just sitting down in my bed and just, you know. But don't get me wrong, sometimes I just sit down in that bed because that's just being honest, you know, knowing that you just don't have the motivation. But sometimes I will just find that little something and I say, boy, go and make some kurma, or go and make some doubles, or go and make some cinnamon, you know, or go and make some cake, make some bread, do whatever, you know. And sometimes I could be up all night till the morning and don't sleep until 12 o'clock. But I guarantee when I do fall asleep, my belly happy. So that means I happy. You understand? And that is what it is I try to do to cope with it most of the time, really.
The first place you need to go if you are living in the UK, actually, not even if you're living in the UK, because the pandemic has made us realize that remote working is the way forward. There are people accessing therapy online. You don't even have to leave your house. The Black and Asian Therapist Network, that is the first place you need to go. I am a huge advocate of having a therapist that looks like you. This is not saying that just because your therapist looks like you that they're going to be amazing and everything's going to be perfect. But for me, that is the first step. Really trying to get somebody that can at least have an understanding of your lived experience. In terms of support mechanisms, again, really important. Go to your GP, go to your doctor, Google. Google is your friend. Yeah, it's really important for you to Google things in your area, local area. You can get therapy, you can get counseling. If medication is something that you want, again, you can speak to your GP about it. Just remember that you always have choice. You may go to the GP and it may not feel like you have choice, but 100% you do.
Mental health in the Caribbean, I think, is to a large extent an unknown, and I don't want to use the word phenomenon because it sounds like I'm sensationalizing it, but it's something that needs to be delved into in a much bigger way than it ever has. Let me give you an example because it's going to sound like I'm wobbling. 10 years ago, a lot of us were not as health conscious as we are physically, you know. A lot of us would drink Coke, drink Lucozade, drink soft drink without you know, combating it with what we should really be drinking. And we started to take heed of that and started to correct what we were putting inside our body. And I think we need to do the same thing with our minds. And in the Caribbean, I think we need to delve into people's minds a lot more, because there's a lot going on that they have to deal with that is not, it's not supported. So I think mental health in the Caribbean, and I've had quite a few conversations about this, it's something that needs to be explored and dealt with in a very, very big way.
Writing the song, well, the song in general, it means so much to me. I actually wrote it when I was just coming out of let's say a depressive phase, let's call it. But yeah, so I wrote it as I was coming out of that. And it was just loads of like kind of affirmations, a lot of kind of quotes and stuff that I was reading and stuff that kind of just reaffirmed to myself that I can get through it. And then yeah, literally I just heard the instrumental. I was just thinking, how can I get away through what I love doing, which is obviously music and soca? How can I put a message in when so many people in the Caribbean community are going through depression, anxiety, just general troubles? It could just be literally a family member's not well, or someone's just passed away and you haven't had the chance to grieve because of COVID, or just not grieving in general. So someone's always going through something. So I just thought, how can I just put this to someone just in a way that they can understand that they're not alone, number one, because everyone thinks it's just them. I think sometimes it's just me going through it. It's everyone. Like yeah, I just wanted a way to give people something to kind of smile about, let them know they're not alone, and just give them a few things that, you know, you can listen to it, take it in and be like, you know what? Yeah, like I want people to hear the song, almost take you back to that pain, and also take you to a place where you're like, okay, I'm happy now. So the song's a journey, but yeah, it means a lot to me. Hopefully you guys like it as well.
In this year, I am looking forward to new music. I'm looking forward to networking, learning. I'm really looking forward to learning in 2022, learning in all different types of aspects, learning within music business, learning about the industry, and how I can excel as an artist, but also how my peers and my friends can excel. And yeah, 2022 is gonna be good. June is gonna be the highlight. It's gonna make me feel so good. Oh Lord, it's gonna make me feel so good. So yeah.
I say much love, and as I always say, you understand, a man's vulnerability is a superpower. So do not be afraid to show your vulnerability. And as I always say, great is the art form, and it will always be real. Come on.
Today, I am thankful for life. Like, that's a crazy question, because I have about 10 people that message me every day asking me, how are you today? How's it going? 1 to 10. How are you feeling? And my response is, I'm humble. I'm humble. I have today. Today's the day I have. I make the most of today. Today, I have right now. And having right now and being able to share something with anybody, you know, I am grateful and thankful for that. And today's a good day because of that, and because of the opportunity I've had to share it with somebody.
My feel good is recognizing where I was, appreciating where I am, and making sure that I can help other people. And that's not necessarily just by going around and going, if you're feeling depressed, I'll go help you. No, you're not gonna do that, you know what I mean? But I think every now and then you can just send a general message just to say, you know what? How you going? You good? If you ain't good, I'm there for you, you know. especially my male friends, you know. I will check in on them and just say, "You're good?" And every now and then, as you know, we'll have a little cook up, drink some rum, and just chill. Just be there for people. That's important, I think. The advice that I would give to someone that's going through a form of mental health is reach out to somebody. Now, I know that sounds a lot easier than it is to actually do, because 9 times out of 10, you might not recognize that you might not attach it to a mental health problem, yeah? And sometimes I think we overthink the terminology mental health. You just having a good state of mind is important. So if you feel down, or you start to feel like, you know what, I'm more down than I am up, then reach out to someone and talk it out, because that way you'll be able to explore how you can improve on it, you know. And there's simple little things like, I have a Spotify playlist that only has about 15 songs on it, but they're my songs, and they're my songs that I know will uplift me, you know. And so when I get into a place where I feel down, I listen to that music. But I also know that there's a couple of people that I can pick up the phone and call and say, "Yo, this is what I'm going through." And sometimes what they say back to you will be a whole heap of rubbish, but you would have said it, you know, you would have got it out. And then your mind will start to say, well, you know, this is how I can deal with it. So my advice to you, firstly, is try and reach out to somebody. And secondly, you know, have something that makes you happy, not alcohol or anything like that, because that's a temporary feeling. Something that will uplift you. If you like reading, if you like going for a walk, if you like music, get one of them and just do it. And just try and make yourself feel that little bit better. Hi, this is Martin J, and today I'm gonna see my grandson and my granddaughter. It'll be the first time that all 3 of us have been together. And you know what? I feel so good.
Visualization is a really important tool. So I just got asked a question about what makes me feel good. And very quickly I was able to transport my mind to things that make me feel good. I was suddenly on a beach. I suddenly felt water on my feet. I suddenly felt wind blowing through my locks. I suddenly felt hugging a family member. I felt playing with my little cousins and nieces and nephews. There's so many things that actually visualization can help you do. So actually that is something that makes me feel good when I'm in a place. I think a lot of people did this throughout the pandemic, when you were in a place where you couldn't go and see people. The boom of Zoom and FaceTime and all those type of things, us using those platforms to connect to people, and just remembering that there are things that you can do within yourself to make you feel good is really important. Carnival makes me feel good. It needs to come back. Soca music makes me feel good. And being a therapist makes me feel good. Seeing people make change and seeing Black people especially have conversations and share their vulnerabilities really, really makes me feel good.
In terms of myself, you know, like when I look back at where I was at, you know, the things I've done, the kind of journey kind of in and out of the kind of depressive states, and still being able to smile and make other people smile. Yeah, man, it just makes me feel so good. Like literally, I just feel so good. Like, and that's just a feeling I want to give to everyone else. I want them to feel good. There's always a silver lining in literally a silver lining in every situation. Yeah, just remember that, you know, stay positive. Yeah, man, that is it. But this is Merzy, over and out.